Hello, my name is Emma Tolbert. I am a junior here at Simpson. This fall, I had the opportunity of working in the weight room underneath Sam Schmitz and Matt Constanson. Throughout this internship, I have learned a few things. I've learned why they program the way they program. I have learned how they coach different teams. I have learned the ways of setting up, tearing down, coaching cues, all of that good stuff. I have also had the experience of getting to see that even though Sam is the head and Chinch is the assistant, how they both follow the same guidelines, but they also coach very, very differently. And I thought that was pretty cool. Some expectations I had before starting my internship was like growing up, I was always around gymnastics, and that's the only sport I ever really experienced. And weightlifting was not something that was very suggested, it wasn't something my parents agreed with, so I didn't grow up around it. And so my main expectation over this internship was figuring out the difference between the sports, why football does something but baseball does something else. That was probably the biggest difference for me, and just getting to work with different teams. I also got to experience how some teams are the same. Surprisingly, women's wrestling and women's gymnastics, our lifts are quite similar, and that's something that I found to be pretty interesting. I also got to experience why Sam does one thing, or why Sam believes in one way of lifting, but other coaches may not, because I also had the opportunity of taking his class. So I got to learn why Sam, for instance, Sam doesn't program back squats, but other sports teams do. He doesn't because of the orthopedic load on your spine. Other sports teams don't see it that way. So there were things like that that I got to learn. Probably one of the most tasking things for me was being able to write programs while also being able to explain them and being confident in them. My knowledge in the weight room has grown a lot over the last few years, and being able to take what I have learned in functional anatomy, ex-phys, all of that has helped me demonstrate and explain the way movements work and why we do certain movements and how to program certain movements together. So those, that aspect of programming has helped due to what I have done in health and exercise science. I also learned something that I guess I could take away from this internship that I felt wasn't something I would have learned prior, is being patient is very, very vital when working with athletes. You would think, being college athletes, that they would understand more, they would listen and know what to do first time you say it, and that's not really the case. They're not really any different than a high school student. You sometimes have to re-explain yourself. You have to learn how to say a correction or give a coaching cue for one athlete that might be different from another athlete, explain movements differently, being patient with athletes that don't necessarily want to be here or don't show up on time. Some sports are harder to work with than others. And so being patient is a very, very big skill to have and to learn when being a sports coach. Something I've developed is probably my confidence in being a coach, especially in the weight room. There are a lot of times that you have to raise your voice, you have to yell at athletes, not in a mean way, but you have to raise your voice for them to be able to hear you because it is so loud. And I'm not super confident in using my voice to that extreme with things that I'm not super comfortable with. But in the weight room, as my knowledge continues to develop, my confidence also continues to develop. And I've just learned that you can't be perfect on something that you haven't tried before. So just allowing myself to make mistakes has helped a lot this year. Something that pushed me out of my comfort zone was probably being asked to lead a team like football in a warm-up. They are a very, very big team, and my mentor Sam, his baby, that's the team that he has brought from square one all the way to where they're at now. And so when I was asked to lead a warm-up for that team, that definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. but at the same time, it like kind of proved to me that I am capable of leading a big team. I am capable of rallying a team together and getting them to listen to me. One, being younger than some of the athletes, and two, being female. I feel like having football respect me and listen to me helped my confidence a lot, and it's helped me with other teams that I work with. I would probably say like a new question or idea I have would be like how different teams work. Like, is there a difference in D1 versus D3? Is there a difference in high school versus D3? How do other sports coaches program other sports teams, and how are they different from Sam and Chinch, and what's the reasoning? That's been a really big question of mine this entire semester. I wanted to experience working with high school, and doing my own research a little bit on the outside has kind of helped see that high school is just not quite as serious, but I would still like to work in that setting. I've learned about myself. I would probably say that I just am more capable of what I give myself credit for. Like, I am capable of leading a team. I am capable of coaching. I do know what I'm talking about. Yes, I make mistakes, but that's what everybody else does too. Like, this is a learning curve, and so I just like realized that even if I am not 100% confident, I am still capable of explaining what I'm trying to get across, and I am capable of coaching a team, of leading a warm-up, of coaching a female or male team. That's probably the most important thing I've learned this semester specifically. My biggest accomplishment this semester, I would have to say, is being given the opportunity to lead tennis and be the head coach of tennis's team this semester. I was given that opportunity in September roughly from Sam and me and another one of my coworkers. We lead the team. They've never had team-led lifts before or coach-led lifts before. So me being the person who picked for that, I feel like that was a really, really like big accomplishment for me and for my personal views on strength training. I have also been told that there is talk of me taking over women's wrestling in fall of 2025, and that is a very big team and a very well-developed team, so that would be a very, very big accomplishment for me as a younger strength coach who is new to this field. But that just proves that Sam believes in me, and so does Chinch, and I'll take that a long way, if that makes sense. I don't know that my goals have necessarily evolved, because I definitely still want to be a strength coach. I just haven't decided if I want to stay in D3, if I want to move to D1, or if I want to go to high school. I would also like to program my own team and run my own team in the Division 3, Division 1 level if high school is not something that I enjoy. In a perfect world, I would love to run a Division 1 gymnastics team in the weight room. That would be really cool. My next steps are to take my CSCS exam and potentially become a certified exercise physiologist after I graduate in 2026. Next summer, I plan an internship at a high school to see if I like the private sector. If not, I will stay in the college realm. I also am planning to go to grad school, but I don't know if I'm going to do that right after I graduate or if I'm going to take a year off, and that's when I'm going to take all of the CSCS exam and the exercise physiology exam. I haven't really decided what my next steps are set in stone, but I do have an idea of where I'm going to go. So yeah, that was a little bit about my internship. I had a very, very good experience working with Sam and Chinch, and I would highly recommend it to anybody else who's interested in the weight room.